3 years subsequent to overcoming Mechagodzilla, Kong has laid out his new area in the empty Earth and looks for a greater amount of his sort. On Earth's surface, Godzilla keeps on keeping everything under control among mankind and Goliath beasts, known as Titans, by killing Scylla in Rome and resting in the Colosseum a short time later. The Ruler Association accept that inasmuch as Kong and Godzilla work on various planes, there will be harmony. Occasionally, Kong rises to the top, explicitly when he really wants clinical consideration. On one example, his tooth is contaminated, and he wants a substitution, which is regulated by Catcher. Kong gets once again to empty Earth, at whatever point his work is finished. Ruler realized that Kong nearly lost his life during his last conflict with Godzilla and need to keep them separated. A Ruler perception station positioned in the empty Earth gets an unidentified sign. By all accounts, the sign causes Jia Kaylee, the most recent overcomer of the Iwi clan from Skull Island, to encounter visualizations and dreams, causing her receptive mother, Dr. Eileen Andrews, Rebecca Corridor, to stress. Andrews approaches unit caster Bernie Hayes with her information and maintains that his assistants should comprehend what the signs mean. After examination, Bernie estimates that the sign has concurred with explicit Titan occasions on a superficial level before. Thusly, the sign addresses a pain call to Godzilla. Likewise detecting the sign, Godzilla leaves Rome and assaults an atomic plant in France to retain the radiation. Godzilla then heads to the Titan Tiamat's den in the icy. Tiamat is the biggest single wellspring of energy in the world. Godzilla tears Tiamat separated and enters its nest to retain the whole store of energy. Ruler accepts Godzilla is reinforcing himself for an approaching danger. At the point when a sinkhole opens close to his home, Kong finds an unknown locale where a clan of his animal groups has made do, including an adolescent named Suko. After an underlying showdown, Kong powers Suko to lead him to the clan's den, and the two gradually bond on their excursion. Suko attempts to kill Kong by attracting him into the way of various beasts. However, Kong routs them all generally without any problem. This gives Suko the certainty that Kong is sufficiently able to confront the risks ahead. The clan's oppressive chief, the Scar-Lord, fights Kong with the guide of an old ice-controlled titan, Shimo, whom the Scar Ruler controls with torment utilizing a gem. Shimo's breath was answerable for the keep-going ice age in the world. Shimo's ice breath harms Kong's right arm, causing frostbite. However, with Suko's assistance, Kong figures out how to get away. However, he loses his hatchet simultaneously. Andrews and Jia, close by Titan veterinarian Catcher, Dan Stevens, and connivance unit caster Bernie Hayes, Brian Tyree Henry, travel to the empty Earth to find the wellspring of the sign. They find the Ruler Station annihilated. As the gathering adventures forward to the wellspring of the sign, they find a sanctuary behind a natural bio-brilliant disguised boundary that drives them to an underground segment that houses an enduring Iwi clan, who convey clairvoyantly with one another. Examining a few remains, they gather that the sign was a clairvoyant misery call sent by the Iwi. While noticing Jia associating with the Iwi, Andrews voices her feelings of trepidation to Catcher that Jia might decide to remain with her kin and that Andrews would need to acknowledge it. Inside a sanctuary, Andrews reveals hieroglyphics showing the past and future. The Scar-Lord once endeavored to overcome the surface world and battled against Godzilla's species. Yet Godzilla crushed him and caught him and his clan profound inside the empty Earth. When Kong entered empty Earth, the Iwi public realized that it was inevitable that Scar Ruler and Kong would meet. What's more, there was plausible that Scar Ruler would overcome Kong and would disappear to the surface through the entries. Thus, the Iwi had been conveying trouble messages to draw in the consideration of Godzilla and Jia. The prescience additionally demonstrates that Jia would be the way to enlivening Mothra. Mothra is accountable for safeguarding the leap focuses between empty Earth and surface Earth and keeping up with harmony between the two spaces. Detecting Jia, Kong finds the sanctuary and is fitted by Catcher with a model exoskeleton arm support to fortify and mend his frostbitten appendage. The model exoskeleton arm support was put away at Station 1 and consequently was rapidly open. Unbeknownst to them, one of the Scar-Lord's supporters has followed them and illuminates the Scar Ruler, who gathers his intrusion force for Earth. Jia effectively stirs the renewed Mothra. Godzilla assimilates inestimable radiation from Tiamat's sanctuary, developing him and turning his dorsal plates red. Expecting to draw Godzilla to the empty Earth to help him, Kong surfaces in Cairo and shouts to Godzilla. Notwithstanding Kong's endeavors to convey, a furious Godzilla assaults him, and a concise battle follows until Mothra shows up with Jia and persuades Godzilla to help Kong. The triplet then, at that point, goes to empty Earth to confront the Star-Lord alongside Shimo and his military. The battle hauls Godzilla, Kong, Shimo, and the Scar Ruler to Rio de Janeiro, where Shimo starts to instigate another ice age at the Star-Lord's order. Shimo fires his ice breath very high, covering the sky and obliterating the sun. In spite of various endeavors, neither one of the gatherings can acquire power over the other, and the city of Rio is annihilated in the fight. The groups are equitably coordinated until Zuko shows up with Kong's hatchet and annihilates the precious stone controlling Shimo. With the aggravation gone, Shimo currently pays attention to Godzilla, who focuses him toward the Star-Lord. Shimo and Kong then freeze and break the Star-Lord. Subsequent to fixing Shimo's ice age with his nuclear breath, Godzilla gets back to rest in the Colosseum. Jia reunites with Andrews and lightens her feelings of trepidation by deciding to remain with her embraced mother. Mothra reestablishes the defensive obstruction of the Iwi's home and afterward withdraws. Kong gets back with Shimo and Zuko to empty Earth, where he turns into the Primate Clan's new chief.